Welcome to the Christian Children's Home of Ohio. Thank you for your heart of service and choosing to get involved with our volunteer program. Our mission is to help people experience their worth in Christ by providing a safe and stable environment where abused and neglected children find healing, discover hope, and experience unconditional love. Volunteers play a key role in fulfilling this mission. Because of this, we want to make sure that each and every volunteer is equipped with the knowledge and information they need to succeed. In this short video, we'll be discussing some important volunteer policies. Your ability to understand and comply with these policies is critical to our success. So, please take the necessary time to absorb this information. To start, CCHO is bound by many standards and regulations from governing authorities because of the children we serve. Most of our residents come from foster care, and safety is of the utmost importance. As such, volunteers are to notify CCHO within 24 hours of any criminal charges or convictions brought against them. Failure to do so will result in immediate dismissal from our volunteer program. Volunteers must protect the confidentiality of our residents. Therefore, they should never share any personally identifiable information or PII with anyone outside of CCHO faculty. This includes things like name, age, birthplace, school, pictures, address, gender, and more. Confidentiality at CCHO is between the resident, the staff, and the volunteers, not one specific staff or volunteer. There are times, though, when exceptions must be made. This would include when there's suspicion of a resident being abused. In this case, staff are mandatory reporters and Child Protective Services must be contacted. Also, any resident presenting immediate danger to themselves or others must be reported. If any of these things are shared with you, please consult the supervisor on duty immediately. Volunteers are never to share personal information about residents on social media or with anyone outside of CCHO, and no pictures or videos can be taken of our residents. Never give a resident access to a personal cell phone, tablet, or computer. Additionally, do not ask about a particular resident's circumstances. Do not help a resident contact family or a previous caretaker through letters, phone calls, social media, or any other method. Their custody holding agency dictates with whom they have contact. CCHO staff who are directly caring for residents are the authority in charge. Direct any questions you have about resident schedule, behavior, discipline, and the like to the supervisor on duty. Boundaries limit what volunteers say and do in order to protect the volunteer, the residents, and CCHO. Keep these things in mind when interacting with residents.
Always follow the rule of 3. Never be alone with a resident out of sight of staff. An exception to this rule allows for resident mentors to take walks around the campus circle with a resident, but only with prior approval from the cottage treatment team. Only interact in common areas, never in residents' bedroom or upstairs hallway. Volunteers are not to help residents change clothes or use the bathroom. It's important to be aware of the impact of touch. Some examples of appropriate touch would be a one-arm side hug when requested, a pat on the shoulder, a high five, a handshake, or a fist bump. Some examples of inappropriate touch are tickling or horseplay, sitting on laps, laying on each other, massage, piggyback or shoulder rides, patting or pinching the bum, hugs from directly in front or behind, or holding hands, except in a game or group prayer.
It's also important to remember when interacting with residents to never give out your own or another person's phone number or home address. Do not share intimate details of personal relationships, marriage, or social life. Residents can ask very personal questions, so be sure to answer carefully. Make sure what you share is useful and safe for them to know. Also, do not let a resident sit in your vehicle and never transport a resident anywhere, especially off campus, under any circumstances. Do not give gifts or money to residents. If a request is made, take it to the campus spiritual coordinator for evaluation. Goodie bags with prior approval for the entire cottage or all residents are okay, but no favoritism is to be shown. In addition, do not accept gifts or money from residents. Always get approval from the campus spiritual coordinator before doing anything outside of your job description. Strive for objectivity and compassionate detachment so that the resident's crisis does not automatically become yours. Do not contact residents outside of CCHO events. This includes social sites, and when in public, only greet a resident if they greet you first. Finally, if you desire to stay in contact with a resident after they leave CCHO, you must abide by the state and county restrictions regarding contact. For instance, social media contact with a former resident is an assumed liability on the volunteer, not CCHO. When volunteering, it's important to always dress appropriately. You should avoid wearing tank tops that show cleavage, miniskirts, short shorts above the knee, slippers, clothing with offensive words, pictures, or drug references. It is very important that all attire fits properly. As a volunteer, you are expected to maintain a high level of personal dedication and performance. This means you're able to be on time and keep CCHO mission your focus. In case of an absence during a scheduled service time, you should inform the designated group coordinator in advance. And please, no unannounced visits to campus when you're not scheduled for service. All of our residents at CCHO are here because they have a background of trauma. This is important to understand because as a volunteer, you may experience or witness a reaction to something that triggers a fear response in a resident. Seeing through this lens helps you to not view these reactions as personal attacks, but as developed survival skills based on their trauma. At CCHO, safety of our volunteers, staff, and residents is very important. So what do you do when a resident displays threatening or dangerous behavior? To start, you should inform CCHO staff and move yourself and other residents away from the unregulated resident to an open area. Remember, maintain the rule of 3. If you're approached by an unregulated resident, you are to ignore them and move away if necessary. If you are harmed by an unregulated resident, do not retaliate. Simply move away, find staff, and seek medical attention if necessary. If you are injured, you should immediately report to the supervisor on duty and file an injury report. We have created specific safety codes to help inform and direct you during a time of emergency. Please take the time to commit these codes and the corresponding directives to memory. Code Black refers to an active shooter on campus. If you find yourself in this scenario, you should barricade yourself and other residents inside a safe location or run away if possible. Code Blue means there are emergency vehicles on campus. When this happens, do all you can to comply with the requests of staff and ER personnel. Code Red is when many staff are running toward an area at once. During a Code Red, you should remain where you are unless you are near the area of concern. If that's the case, you should move to a safe area immediately and stay there until you receive further direction from staff. Identifying yourself and tracking your hours as a volunteer on campus is very important. Here are some simple guidelines to follow when you arrive. Park by the administration building or leadership and recreation center for vehicle safety. Make sure to lock your vehicle and conceal any personal property like purses, wallets, cell phones, etc. while volunteering. Sign in and sign out on the designated forms each and every time you serve. You must also wear your assigned badge or vest at all times when serving. When finished, sign out and return your badge or vest. If you're a residential volunteer working in a cottage, you must sign in and out at your assigned cottage. For all other volunteers, on Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., for sign in and out, please visit our reception desk in the administration building. On Saturdays, please call ahead to speak with your designated group coordinator or campus spiritual coordinator, and they will instruct you where to sign in and sign out on that day. And remember, if your contact information changes, please inform your designated group coordinator. We hope that you found this video to be both helpful and informative. By carefully following these guidelines, you're helping us to create a safe and nurturing environment for our residents. We want to thank you for the contribution of your time and your dedication to making a difference in the lives of those here at the Christian Children's Home of Ohio.